Can't catch AIDS in Texas. Fact. Week 9 preview. Let's start it up. We're gonna review the games as always. Week 8. I managed to come out on top of Kevin. No homo. Barely. Because of a good defensive performance. I had a game time decision to make between Stafford and Eli. I chose Eli because my internet was down, and Stafford only got a few more points. My team sucks, who I think we're going to have to change his name. We'll get to that in a second. Barely beat TX Nurse, even though he wasn't starting a quarterback, a running back, or a flex. Pink Floyd Panther managed to beat Metal Spine. No surprises. The mighty Sea Gouch somehow beat Aaron, even though he wasn't even trying. The crumble continues with Cameron's loss, putting up an abysmal 71 points to Spencer. And Disco Hobbits was only 63 points short of that 170 set by Matthew Berry in his infinite wisdom. Of course, I talk about Matthew Berry's infinite wisdom. I can't do basic math, but at least I don't project people 170 points. Alright, Week 9 preview. First game, we got me and The Cure sucks. Now, I've been saying for weeks, it's not The Cure sucks, it's my team sucks. But if you take a look at his team doesn't really suck. He just sucks. I mean, he started people on buys, and he still managed to win some games. He has Adrian Peterson and Frank Gore, who are, Gore's had some good weeks. That's been a big reason why he's won a couple. And Adrian Peterson's a stud. Now, I got a fact for you. If you go back and look, my team sucks would be 5-3 had he just been a Sunday owner. Had he not been the antichrist of any fantasy football league, an inactive owner, he would have been 5-3. Now, this probably surprises you, but go back and look. Had he just started the players he had on his team that were on his bench when other people had buys, a lot of things would have happened, including Disco Hobbits not being undefeated. Now let's start our analytical matchup. We got Manning and Freeman. Freeman's terrible. Manning will do better than him. He's playing the worst passing defense in the league, the Patriots. Burnzo Turnzo is going to have a big week against the Colts. Peterson's on a bye. I don't think The Cure sucks has checked his team since week 1. We can assume that not much is going to change there. Frank Gore, I think, will have another 100-yard running game. He'll best Pierre Thomas. If Roddy White plays, he'll do better than Washington because the Falcons are playing the Indy. Macklin will do better than Marshall because he can't catch touchdowns. Gates will do better than Chandler because I'm just rolling the dice with Chandler. Dez will do better than Sean Green, whom I hate. The mighty David Akers will outperform Billy Cuntiff. And the Raiders D, who is playing someone pretty crappy, will beat the 49ers. The Raiders are playing, let's see, it's obnoxious. Why are you doing this? This is stupid. I don't know why it just didn't switch. The Raiders aren't playing anyone good. I forget who it is, but basic features are too much to ask of NFL.com. Just like a chat room. How hard would that be? Just a little Windows 95 message board where you can type other people in your league during the game so it wouldn't spam the main board. Just talk about the game. Alright. Clap for Bacon and TX Nurse. Clap for Bacon came off a big loss to me. TX Nurse came off a small loss to The Cure sucks, my team sucks, I chug piss as an owner, or whatever you want to call him. So, I it's hard to say who needs a win more. I'd say if TX Nurse loses this game, she's out. And Kevin's in a really tough division, and if he were to lose this game, it would be hard for him to win the wild card because Hobbits has that division pretty well locked up, and the USC Athlete Compensation Fund has a really good-looking team and is on a tear. Alright, Schaub and Cobb. Schaub will obviously do better. Arian Foster and Jackson. Jackson's been like the Arian Foster of last year, which is kind of funny. He'll do better. Excuse me. Jackie Battle and Bradshaw. Bradshaw's probably more likely to get a touchdown. Lloyd and Meacham. It's a toss-up there. Probably Lloyd if Drew Bradford plays. Megatron can outperform any other receiver. Clark is going to outperform Shockey, just because Shockey isn't that good. Manningham will do better than Maurice Morris. Rackers will do better than Vinatieri. And the Cowboys D will do better than the Seahawks, although it'll be closer than you think. Another thing to say is the USC Athlete Compensation Fund, Spencer, my cousin, said this. He said that Ben is like the Bill Belichick of fantasy football. And we're going to go to his game and you'll see why. He really had no chance of winning last week until he made the moves that he did. And the fact that he won last week was just really impressive to me and shows how good of an owner he is. Now, as you can see, Ben has Cam Newton on a bye, which, of course, he's playing Sea Gouch. That's bound to happen. Bad luck versus Sea Gouch. But I honestly think he can win. Sea Gouch will start Rodgers, obviously, who will do a lot better than Fitzpatrick. I think if Hillis plays, he'll do better than Blunt, but he might not. I think it might be one of those things where he says he's probable and last minute he doesn't, which all I can hope for. Ben Tate and Reggie Bush both are terrible. I'd say Tate has the edge just because Bush had is only the second good game of his career. Stevie Johnson's better than David Nelson. I think Colston is bound to catch a couple of TDs. Although Victor Cruz is another just like luck-based pickup by Sea Gouch. Daniels is better than Ballard. Mark Fatgram is better than Moore if he plays. I don't know if he will. But you also have to consider that Christian won't start Moore probably. He'll probably end up starting Jennings. And then Hanson's the top-tier kicker. Him, Bailey, and David Akers. Mostly Akers, though. Akers is a nightmaric beast. And the Packers' defense is better than the Texans. Although I'm going to give Ben the edge. You know, if an owner this good can be bested by an owner this lucky, there's no hope for me. Because Christian's schedule is pretty weak going forward. Bing Bong and Disco Hobbits. This matchup gives me the giggles. Because, you know, I predicted Cameron's downfall. He lost 2, beat Disco Hobbits, not Disco. He beat My Team Sucks. I chugged piss as an owner. Well, most of his players were on a bye. He had an easier Cure Sucks matchup than anyone else this year. He thought he had broken the crumble, the slump. He hadn't. I predicted that the Cure Sucks would lose out to him. You know, and then this week he goes out and loses to Spencer by a lot. He doesn't have a chance against Hobbits. He'll follow a negative record. After showing so much promise starting out 3-1, you know, he shows that it takes more than just drafting big names to have a good year. And he doesn't have a chance this week, but we'll see if he can salvage his season next week. I mean, this is going to be a mutilation. Breeze will do better than Romo. Chris Johnson's having a terrible year. Ray Rice will best him. LaShawn McCoy, I mean, I'll give Hobbits credit. He drafted him. I thought that Vic would get hurt. I was right about that, but he hasn't really gotten significantly injured. And McCoy's had a great season. they've given it to him a lot more than I expected. McCoy will do better than Matt Forte, who Cameron will probably start, although I'm going to predict they'll both get over 15 points. Dwayne Bowe's better than Thomas, and Hakeem Nicks will probably do better than Austin, because watching the Cowboys just be atrocious, it was really stunning to me. I don't really have confidence in any Cowboy other than Dez. And the Giants are playing the worst pass defense in the league, the Pats. So there's always that to help Hakeem Nicks. Jimmy Graham, I mean, Disco's gotten lucky with him. I seriously doubt he knew he would get this many yards. We'll do better than Witten because, the Cowboys are totally feeble on offense. A.J. Green will do better than Bolden, who had a good week last week. As I incorrectly predicted, I said Bolden would do terrible. I also said the Spencer's old flex player would do terrible. He didn't think so, but I was right about that. John Casey will outperform Ron Baronis by far, and the Baltimore defense will do better than the Saints. Cameron doesn't have a chance here. He's going to have to figure something out. USC Athlete Compensation Fund and no fried rice for you. I hate the phrase trap game, but Spencer's got to be careful. The notion that no fried rice is 1-7 would be a correct one, obviously, but the notion that he's worse than the Cure Sucks, owner-wise, and on the same level as Metal Spine team-wise, just isn't true. I mean, his team's not great, but he does have Michael Vick, who, I hate, but, his team's not 1-7 bad. He scored 90 points last week. Rivers will, I don't know who Spencer will start. I don't think he knows, honestly. He's juggling between him and Tierbo. I don't know what's going on, but Phil Rivers had a terrible week last week. Honestly, Phillip Rivers should be dropped. He's so bad. He hasn't done anything all year. People who drafted him really got screwed. He'll be bested by Mike Vick this week. McFadden will do better than McGahee or Michael Bush, McFadden's handcuff. Whoever Spencer starts will do better than McGahee. Dirty Beanie will do better than Mendenhall, who's completely fell off the map. Fitz will have a good week, although he'll have a hard time against Eric Decker, who seems to be Tim Tebow's favorite target. Antonio Brown, who I think Spencer's trying to sell high right now, will probably not do as good as Mike Wallace. Fred Davis will do better than Tony Gonzalez because Fred Davis is getting a lot of targets. S-Jacks will do better than Ben Jarvis Green Ellis because that Patriots backfield is a lot like the Green Bay receiving corps, just a crapshoot. Dan Bailey, top tier kicker, will do better than Squeezem, who for some reason is wearing a red shirt in his team picture. I guess he just didn't take a new one after the Redskins got rid of him. And then the Giants defense will suffer against the Patriots, and the Titans D will do better. It's kind of phrased oddly. But, and then Metal Spine and Rampy. Rampy's lucky he's playing such a terrible team. Brady will do better than Roethlisberger. Hardestine, who's going to miss multiple games. Rampy might have to call Ben up and ask him which running back to pick up again. Ridley's a joker. I've been over this. He'll be bested by Murray. Ocho Cinco, not even worth having on an 18-team league right now. Not worth a bench spot. Although Garcon isn't much better. Welker will probably have a little bit of a comeback, but not much. Gronkowski will do better than Cook. Ryan High Terrain also needs to be dropped. And Dan Carpenter's better than Josh Brown. And the Steelers' D is better than the reeling Redskins' D. Something that Spencer pointed out to me is that one of the reasons that there's so much tight end trouble in our league is because the inactive owners have two decent ones. Not to say that Metal Spine's completely inactive, but I mean, look at the Cure Sucks. My computer would work. He has He has Antonio Gates, and that's a lock. I think he also has Olsen, and those are two definite starters that's going to be hogged onto one team. So if you're hurting at tight end, blame the anthrax, the managerial fantasy football anthrax known as the cure sucks. Please remember to rate the video. I tried to go more in depth this week. Me over Cure Sucks, Clap for Bacon over TX Nurse, Disco over Bing Bong, USC over No Fried Rice, although it'll be closer than you think. Fantasy Bill Belichick Genius over Sea Gouch, hopefully, and Record Breaking over Metal Spine in a stink fest. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Remember to comment.